Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, February 24th. It is 6:20 right now. We have 10 minutes until market open. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a few things there to update and we should be good to go. Perfect. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium and we'll get started shortly. All right. Looks like we are good to go. So as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. One thing. First was up to the 8 hour. Okay. 1 hour. Going down to the 30 minute. To 10 minute. Going down to the 1 minute. Looks like we are good to go here. So guys, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, February 24th. It is 6:24 right now. We got market opening up in about 6 minutes. Looks like we're good to go. So let's see who's here so far. Morning Christian, morning Lila, morning Kenny, morning David, morning everybody. Kenny said he can't see me. Can you guys see me? I'm looking at the screen right now. It looks like I can see myself, so I'm not sure if it's just you, Kenny. But it looks like I'm visible. So all right, perfect. Yeah, Christian said he can see me too. So I think it just might be you might have to refresh your screen, Kenny. All right, guys. So we have liquidity marked up here. We got a lot of liquidity on both sides. I believe there was news this morning too, so I will mark that up. So we got a ton of liquidity targets, just kind of all over the place. Um, Looks like we're in a trending market for today as well. So I figured out a way to fix the setup market profile on TradingView, and I'll be using that as confluence for me. So we got liquidity here marked up. I believe we had news this morning. Maybe down here, pretty far off. And I believe we had news this morning as well. So we had news over here. It was Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index, or we have Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index at 7:30. And we had news over here, Chicago Fed National Activity Index at 5:30. So let me go there real quick. At 5:30. News price. We have one news event here at 7:30, medium impact. Looks like we've had the sellers in control for some time now. So sellers have been in control since this point up here. Pretty far push. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens up. Yeah, here is the market profile, guys. So basically, this green line is typically where price tends to bounce off of. So this is going to be the value low. It's not always accurate, but it gives you a good understanding of like where if price does bounce off this point, it's likely to push back up to this black line. This black line isn't really, so there's a couple different lines here. The ones that we really want to pay attention to will be the dotted lines. So these dotted lines over here actually are what we want to focus on versus the solid ones. The solid ones are volume profile and the dotted lines are market profile. So we want to use both. Typically, you want this red line to be aligned with this one, or you want this green line to be aligned with this one, but they're not aligned right now. So you can see that market is a little bit out of whack right now with regard to market profile and volume profile because they're in different places. But we'll use this as a confluence to look for bounces off price and look for areas of target. But it looks like price might be trending today. So if price is trending super heavily, it's not going to be as useful as it would be during a ranging market. So we'll kind of see what happens here. Hey, Sam, morning. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. All right, guys, market's going to open up shortly in about 2 minutes. Again, today's Monday, February 24th, 6:28 right now. We got market opening up shortly. Breakout for today is looking like a sell. We'll see what happens here when market opens up, but it's looking like a sell so far. Looking over here at all the trend across the board, 4 hours bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 10-minute is switching to bearish, 5 minutes bearish, and 1 minute here is bearish as well. So we have a bearish trend with regard to the overall time frame. Breakout for today is looking like it's possibly going to be a sell. We have market opening up in about 30 seconds. So I will mark this up for you guys. Again, I'm not looking to take a breakout, but I will be marking up for you guys to follow, of course. So kind of play by ear, see how this here plays through. And be looking for my typical scalps here, of course. So we got market opening up in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. The breakout for today is a sell. It's kind of tricky because price has been dropping for a while now, but it is dropping further right there. I'll mark up the 50 points so that you guys can see where the 1-to-1 is at. A lot of you guys like to get out at that 1-to-1, which is perfectly fine. I'll let that run for a bit. And we'll come back to this shortly. Let's go back to our main chart. I'm going to mark up opening price here. So let me go back to the market profile. Okay, so look, this is going to be a possible area for balance here, guys. We have the market profile here right now. This is going to be a possible area for bounce if price does come down. It might bounce off this point, and then if it does bounce off, it may come back to here. It just kind of depends on what type of market that we're currently in. We might be in a ranging market, or if we're in a ranging market, this is typically what will happen. It'll establish, the low here, and it'll come back up and push back up to the point of control, which is this middle point. Like I said earlier, we want to see these kind of lined up with each other, right? See how they're now lined up? This black line and this green bar over here. When they're lined up like that, the market profile and the volume profile are pretty much lined up together, and they look and that's the confluence that we're looking for with regard to the two profiles. Because some people like to trade just volume profile. This is volume profile over here. Price is currently at the low point, so it's possibly going to push up from here and push back up to this black line. This is market profile with volume profile together. So this isn't a strategy. It's just we're using this as a confluence to kind of see where price is likely to go from. Like this area right here, this green line this is real fair value. So this is where people think, or where traders think, this is fair price. So this is fair price for most people if you're using the market profile, because this is where the most volume has happened in the past day. So this is like where most of the trading has happened. Like if price goes to this point, this is where price is fair. If price goes up to this upper point, this means it's overpriced, and it's likely to come back down to go to the fair price right here, which is down the middle. Same with the lower end. If price pushes down to this point, it's like price is too discounted, and it's likely to push back to this green area, which is considered fair value. So, a lot of people like to call fair value gaps the more and more I did more research on market profile, this is like actual fair value. When people call fair value gaps, when there's when there's like a gap in price, or where they say that, like, for example, people will say that this is a fair value gap. This is like nonsense. If you understand how to read market profile, you'll understand that like fair value is really like where most of the orders are coming from. This is like where people want to trade at. So I'm not using this as a strategy again, guys. I'm just using it as a confluence. So for example, if we get a sell entry, so say for example, I get a MPS V2 here, right? And I get the MPS V2 and it's bouncing off one of these zones. Like say for example, price pushes up, and then I get an MPS V2 over here, right? I'm going to take that because I can see price is overpriced and it's coming back down to fair value. So that's how I'll be using it. Typically, so this is usually what a market, let me put this on the 30-minute. This is what a market profile looks like. It's loading right now. So this is what market profile looks like. And this is what I mean about, see this green bar right here, point of control. This is where like most of the orders were happening. So like most of the trading happened around this middle area, and that's why it's considered fair value. See, same with this right here. This is considered fair value from yesterday or from Thursday, because this is where all the trading was happening. All the trading was happening around this area, all the trading was happening around this area, etc. So the fair value here is, this makes sense because that's where all the trading was happening. I'm on the 1 minute, so it's like a little tighter. I don't really care about those bars as much. All I care about is like where the zones are marked up. So trading is a little laggy today, but it's okay. I don't know what's going on with it, but it is a little laggy. Yeah, exactly. Christian said people like the fancy names. Yeah, I agree. So depending on what you guys want to use, if you want to use a volume profile, like the same with the volume profile here, I just took off the bars. I mean, if you guys want to put the bars on there, I mean, feel free. Like you can have the bars on there, but I don't really care about where the volume is at. I just care about where like the value low, the value high, or the point of control is down the middle. So not really caring about that as much. Here we are back on the main chart. So let's see how far this pushed up. It's pushed up about 50 points, right? Okay, so we can say the buyers were back in control here for a little bit. But then they got shut back down right here. So the buyers pushed price up slightly. And the reason why I did this here is because this is going to reset our analysis now. So earlier, the buyers have been pushing price down from this point here, 431. And from here, they've been pushing down price for quite some time. Now we have a reset of it we have a push to the upside right here, and then now we have a push back to the downside. So we have a higher high right here. Let me take this off. I turn on the confluences now. So we have a possible sell signal here that's closing. If the sell signal closes, then this may be setting up for an MPSV2. The problem is that we're still kind of early in the session. So it's 6:36 right now. Typically, we look for the MPSV2 once market starts to kind of stabilize a little bit. And I typically would like to look for an A+ setup. But we do have liquidity sitting right here. So this is going to be the first target where price is likely to reach for. Let me go back to the market profile. For some reason, the market profile, okay, there we go. They're wondering why it didn't come up. Okay, so we're currently at the value low right now. So as you can see where price is currently bouncing off of this green line right here, this is the volume value low. The market profile volume low is going to be down here. We have a big order that just came in, 50 contracts for a sell. So we're in the value low area. This area means that price is way too discounted right now. So the odds of seeing a bounce around this area is likely. And if it does bounce from here, it's probably going to push back up to the point of control, which is the value area. But this only really works in a ranging market. So if the market's ranging, then you'll probably see this bounce off and come back up. Otherwise, if it's not ranging, then it's probably going to keep dropping because it looks like we're in a trending market for today. I mean, obviously, it's very trending right now, right? Super, super strong push to the downside. There we go. Price came down, grabbed liquidity right there. And see what happens here next. Sorry. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, CJ. CJ said we're sandwiched in between sessions. Forgot to turn my sessions on right there. You can now see the sessions right there. Price came down, grabbed this liquidity, and it's also at the Asia low. See, Sam says he's going to look for a V1 at 43,593. Pretty close to it right there. Not quite, but close to it. V1 setting up right there too at the sessions. So let's go back over here. So you can see where the value low is. Price is currently at the value low right here. And you can see how it's bouncing off and we're getting a V1 variation. I'm not going to take this as a V1, of course, but if this becomes the case, you can see where it's bouncing off the structure right here, off the value low. And if the V1 closes, it's probably going to push up a little bit because it's currently in a value low area. So this is like where the analysis is, this is where they come together, right? We have an engulfing and V1 variation pattern right here. This is a reversal pattern, right? So you have the reversal pattern and it's rejecting off a couple of price points. It's rejecting off the sessions and it's also rejecting off the value low. So see how that V1 there would have been a good entry? See, I'm not necessarily using it as a strategy. I'm using it as a confluence there. So if you were to take this here as a V1 variation, it would have hit your profit right there already. I mean, I wouldn't take it there for me personally because it's a red flag, but I'm just using this as a confluence to kind of show you guys and understand like, okay, this is what I'm using volume profile for, or not volume profile. This is what I'm using market profile for, and I'm using it in conjunction with my strategies. My strategies here, my price action strategies, they're based for the entries, but we're using the volume, the market profile here to identify, you know, is this a quality entry, right? Is there structure that it's bouncing off of? Does it want to bounce off this area? And if it does bounce off this area, where is it likely to push to? So, I mean, we're in a trending market, so this is probably not going to push back to the point of control, but it just gives you a good understanding as of, okay, this is a good area to bounce off of. Plus we have our reversal pattern down here. Like odds of it hitting are very likely. So, I mean, I would take these as like smaller scalps, but I don't necessarily take them as the big pushes. Otherwise, you know, you can see over here, we have multiple confluences. We have price pushing up to opening right here. And then we also have price pushing up to point of control. Because like I said earlier, guys, this is fair value. Like right now, price is not fair. This is where price is fair at because this is too low. This is too high. This is where price wants to be. So just keep that in mind, guys. And there we go with the V1. That V1's actually playing out very, very nicely. Let's see that V1 variation entry. Using my confluences right there, or using my strategy right there for entry, and then using the confluences here are huge. So this is what I'm using it for, because I want to see how we can hold on to these positions a little longer, right? Because typically we only go for 20 points. But see, if I use these confluences here, we can go till open, or in a, even better sense, you can even go until point of control, which is up here. So there's just a lot of different things here to look at, guys. I'm always looking for ways to make our trading more efficient and to, lock in more profits. The strategy doesn't change. Strategy stays the same. The only difference here is that I'm using a market profile to identify bounces. So now that price is coming back down, this could have been the push, because like I said earlier, market is trending today. So we don't necessarily have the need for price to actually go back to point of control. So looking at current price right now, we have this is an MPSV2 that's currently set up right now. I mean, it's not one that I would take because it's at opening price, like I said earlier. I'm still looking at the red flags, but I'm not taking this here. So I take that back, guys. It's not an MPSV2. I just saw that there was a buy signal here. My bad. So there's no MPSV2 here because we have a buy signal. Yeah, exactly. Shivam said that's crazy. I see the power of that. Yeah. So, if you look up market profile, guys, you'll see that basically anybody who teaches market profile, they'll tell you it's not a strategy. It's just a confluence. And that's exactly what I'm using it for. I know some people who will try to put like a limit order somewhere down here and they'll try to just ride this back up, which is fine. I actually did some testing and it works really well, but it doesn't work all the time. Because the thing is, these value highs and these value lows, they're always adjusting, right? Whenever a candle closes, like right now I'm on the 1 minute, but if you're on the 30-minute, it closes every 30 minutes. It's always going to adjust slightly. So these things repaint. And that's why you can't really use them as a specific standalone strategy. I just use them as a confluence. So we have a V1 and engulfing candle right here, guys. This is the first confluence right here. And we have a sell signal coming up. Let me see how far this pushed up from. Okay, so we'll have the buyers push price up from right here because they did push price up quite a bit. So we have the buyers push price up right there. And then we have the sellers pushing price back down right here. So this is going to reset the process, guys. This again is resetting. So now we're going to look for another MPS here and then another A+ setup. So we got price dropping lower. See how price over here broke past the value low? This is why I say, like, you can't use this. I mean, you can if you want, but you're not typically supposed to use this as a standalone strategy. You see how the value low is now lower? This type of rejection doesn't necessarily work very well in the trending market. It works well in a ranging market when price is going back and forth. And the reason why this is a good tool is because the market is ranging majority of the time, right? Probably like 70% of the time market is ranging, 30% of the time market is trending. So it's a good tool to use. I mean, today our strategies will probably just work well on its own because market is trending. But when the market's not trending, it's good to identify, those bounce areas. But there's nothing here right now. You can see price is pretty crazy. Like these candles are moving extremely large. The 70-point candle right here. I don't think there was any news today either. Let me check CNBC real quick. So this is the only breaking news for now. It says Dow rises more than 100 points as traders look to recover from Friday's sell-off. And of course, price came down super heavily as soon as that was released. This was released at 6:35. It's currently 6:45. So at 6:35, when that was released, price actually did the complete opposite. It came straight down. So now we'll see what happens here. So we continue to look for some entries and opportunities. Yeah, CJ said, I hope that V1 engulfing candle pushes past these sessions. Yeah, I know, right? So we'll see here if it pushes back down further from where it's currently at. We don't have an entry here yet, but what I'm going to be looking for here with CJ is I'm going to be looking for an A plus setup. So I'm looking for this engulfing V1 to come down a little bit. Look for it to retrace, and then hopefully get a V1 engulfing down here with an MPS, and then we can probably ride this down from here, CJ. Because it'll be away from the sessions, right? That's kind of what I'm looking for right now. It's still currently in the value area, but like I said, this doesn't really matter too much because we're currently in a trading market. CJ said, yeah, over plan place there. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm looking for here. There's an MPS setting up right here, guys, but it's going to be at a red flag, so a little bit of a tricky entry at that point. I mean, if you guys are looking to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys. So this is an MPS V2 setting up right here, guys. Candle's closing in about 10 seconds. I think the candle is very, very big, so you might want to be careful. Might have to retrace a little bit. It's a 50-point candle right here. So this is an MPS V2. I'm not in the position. I'm just marking up for you guys. I don't like the fact that it's at the sessions. And then I also don't like that the candle here was too big. This is a huge candle. So whenever you have a big candle like that, you know, the odds of it retracing are likely. We also don't have any confluences here. I mean, price is at the value low, so I don't typically want to trade against this. If I see price bouncing off the value low, so say, for example, price comes below and then it bounces from it from the lower end, then in that situation, I will possibly look for, you know, I'd possibly look for the sell there. But there's just not enough confluences here right now, so I don't necessarily, I'm not looking to take it at the moment. Not forcing any trades here, guys. You know, I'm just being patient. You can see here the volatility is not very consistent. You have these huge candles, 70-point candle, 50-point candle, 30-point candle, 50-point candle, and these are now super small. This price continues to build up a direction here. But again, I'm not in any positions here at the moment. Looks like Sam here caught the flip to the upside. So nice work right there, Sam. Sam caught 40 points from 43,593. Nice. Yeah, that was a nice setup there because it was such a huge candle. It was going to retrace. And it did to a certain extent. All right, so here goes the MPS V2, guys. It's pushing down further. You know, the market profile here. Here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create two market profiles. I have a market profile on the 30 because I like following it on the 30 because it doesn't adapt, it doesn't change. I feel like on the 1 minute here, it kind of changes too often. I mean, it's useful, but it's useful in a ranging market. I like to see the market profile here on the where it's not adapting on every single candle. All right, so the MPS V2 is currently running right now, guys, as you guys can see right here. It's currently running in profit, but you can see the volume here has pretty much died down. These are like probably the worst types of positions. And there you go, full TP right there. So if you guys took it, like I said, I didn't want to take it because it was at a red flag. I'll be looking for that A plus setup to follow up here, but 2 entries now for full TP. So there's a V1 variation right here came up, full TP. And then there was an MPS V2 that came up right here, full TP as well. I didn't take any of those entries because they were at red flags. Obviously, the sessions are right here. Sessions is right here. So I'm following my game plan, not taking any risky entries, but you can see the risky entries are still hitting. Okay, perfect. So this is what I like about the 30-minute, and I'll leave a 30-minute and a 1 minute up so that you guys can see the market profile here. Price is currently in the value area, but this is a 30-minute candle. So this candle still has 9 minutes on it. It can easily bounce off this value low and still push back up to the point of control, right? So I'll keep this here. little separate. I guess I could leave the value volume on here. If you guys want it. If you guys don't want, I can take the volume off. It's we're getting a V1 right here. Again, a possible V1 variation right here. This is going to be an A plus setup. The only problem is that the volume here is very low. So I don't think this is a good area to be taking entry. I also don't see any confluences here. So let me see if it's bouncing off any structure. Not quite. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on this one right here, guys. This is an A plus setup, but the volume here is very low. Actually, the volume here might be a little high. So I'll probably get into this here, actually, guys. Let me see. It looks pretty decent. So we have the candle right there.
Order submitted.
Let me see what the setup's at. It's a V1 variation and
Order
engulfing right
filled.
there. Let's see. Nine. It's just tricky because the volume here isn't very consistent. Let's see, 39. Stop is at 89. Fuck, I got stopped out. It's okay.
Stop filled.
Yeah, so I was kind of like worried about this position here because I thought the volume was going to be low, but the volume actually did the opposite and it was actually too high. It's all good. Yeah, so I got caught up in that. Like I said, when the volume here is like, it's tricky. I should have listened to you, CJ. CJ said I'm sitting on my hands for the moment. One candle can wipe this out, and that's exactly what happened here. I was expecting this to maybe be consistent, but it did exactly what CJ said. You know, I should have kind of waited a little bit. I didn't think this candle was gonna spike up like that, but it's okay. Yeah, it's a huge candle right there. We had these smaller candles, which were like 10 to 15 points. The thing with this here is I was looking for this here to like maybe close smaller, and you guys can see here the consistency with these candles are not very consistent. And then there's basically another setup right here. There's another engulfing at V1. It's kind of a crazy market today with regard to the candle sizes. It looks like I just got stopped out on this, and now it's coming all the way back down to where it's supposed to go. It's okay. That's just it's just part of the game. So if you guys want to take this here, I mean, you guys can take this next one. I'm not going to take it right now. I'm probably going to hold off for a little bit because I don't really like how this here is moving. But looking over here at the market profile, so let's see. I mean, prices, it's still in a value area. So it's kind of a tricky point here. This candle is going to close in about 5 minutes. So once this candle here closes, there's going to be another, like this here is going to shift a little bit. Not a lot, but maybe a little bit. I'll make sure the here is closed. All right, let's see what we got here next. So looks like we might be going into a range here now. So looking at the entries for today so far, there was 2 entries that hit, 1 entry that lost. Unfortunately, the one that I lost here, it's just got caught in this huge spike to the upside and then spike right back down. So I don't know what caused that spike. I don't see any news here. I think it's just market. That's just how the market is right now. There's just a lot of these big candles that kind of spike up out of nowhere. Because it looks like the spike here happened and then it just came right back down. So just these two candles right here pushed up, pushed down, and then now we're back to where it was earlier. And it looks like we might be consolidating here now. Small little consolidation zone. And I can't even draw the consolidation here. It's so tight. I'll draw it a little later once it establishes that a little more. Yeah, price here is now just consolidating sideways. Again, we have a 30-minute candle right here. It's closing in about 3 minutes. It's currently at the value low volume down at this point. But you guys can see this big box of consolidation right there. All right, looks like we'll just kind of wait and see here. So it looks like the entry that I took earlier, it's going to push down and hit its TP after, but it's okay. This is going to be after the fact, of course. Yeah. So here goes that entry that I just took that loss. I got caught in the spike right there, and then it came all the way down to where it was supposed to go. I was just unlucky with that there. Wasn't expecting these candles to start to explode like this. All right, so let's see what we got here next. So the other entry here actually hit. Mine over here lost, and the one after it that came through right after. Yeah, there were like basically entries that happened right after each other. We had the engulfing V1, engulfing V1, engulfing V1, and then we have an MPS that's setting up right here too. So there's another entry running right here. It's another MPS. There's a lot of entries that are just coming up right after each other. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably sit out right now, guys. There's a lot of entries that are coming up, but it's like hard to tell what's following and what's not, right? Because we have like, so right here we had an MPS, engulfing B1, MPS, engulfing B1. The one that I tried to get into this A plus, but I got caught in the spike right here. And then another engulfing B1 that came up right here. And then this right here is an MPS. We had a sell signal, price retraced up. This candle closed below this momentum here. So there's another MPS running right here, but these are like, there's too many entries happening right after each other where I would probably just hold off right now. There's just, you want to have these kind of spaced out. Usually they don't happen right after each other. There's usually like an engulfing, retracement, MPS, retracement, A plus setup, retracement, and then it goes reverse for a little bit, and then it comes back down, and then it continues. But if you guys do want to take these, I mean, feel free to take them. I'm marking them up for you guys to see. But right now I think there's just too much happening in one area. And it's easy to get caught in, I would say, like a low quality entry. Hey, what's up, bro? Morning. Nice. CJ over here took the NPS on his phone. So looking at this over here, Christian locked in 580. Nice work, Christian. Solid profits for the day right there. So again, we have this NPS that's currently running. But like I said, there's too many entries here that came up within like one, like they literally came up right after each other or they overlap each other. or no, it's not Barack, sorry. Christian's profits. That's for Christian. All right, so I'm not in any positions right here. I don't even know if I'll take any more positions for the day because my trading plan is usually, one loss and I'm done for the day. And that was my one loss for the day that I need to, for the most part, let sink in for a little bit. So looking over here at the 30-minute, price is currently below the value low. So this is what you want to look for here. You're going to look for two things to happen. Look how price reaction, how to react from this area. So price is either going to come down here and continue dropping, or it's going to flip and come back to the point of control. Right? There's two different scenarios here. It looks like price will continue dropping though, from the looks of it. And there we go, another full TP right there for an MPSV2. I mean, looking at these candles, guys, if you guys can see, these candles are they're kind of scary how they're moving here. Because this could have easily flipped the other way, just like it did for me earlier over here, right? Like this flipped down, but this could easily flip to the upside. The ATR is actually really high right now. It's currently at 32 ATR, or 30 ATR, 30 to 32. And yeah, the movement here is it's just a little tricky. Because you'll get these smaller candles, like this candle over here was about like a 5-point candle move. This candle right here was about a 10-point candle move. And then this big one over here was a 50-point candle move. You get like these variations in candles, and it's not very consistent movement. I would consider this more of a blocky movement. Let's see, CJ said I needed to reset before it hits higher level liquidity down there. Yeah, you probably want to wait for at least some sort of retracement. Let me see if it's reset here at all. I didn't really push up high enough to reset there yet. We have another engulfing right here. So you guys can see we're in a very strong trending market to the downside. And there we go. So here's the confirmation that I was telling you guys about. So see how price was at the value low? I said look for two things. Look for price to either come down, retest it and come down lower, or look for it to come back up and reverse to the upside, back to the point of control. Right here, price is below. And now we have confidence that the sellers are probably going to keep pushing price down even lower. But like CJ said, we're probably going to want to see some sort of retracement here first. There's another engulfing V2 or V1 right here. I mean, like I said, these entries are coming up right after each other. They're coming up very quickly. And I would just be careful because you might get caught in what I got caught in earlier. I'm just being a little more cautious now because I wasn't expecting this to happen where price was going to spike up and then come back down right after. I just ended up getting caught in the whipsaw right there. But this could happen again, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that this could that this is done. And there we go, as price pushes down lower. Yeah, Christian said an A++ festival. Yeah, there's a whole bunch here, guys. So we have the MPSV2, A++, 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 etc. I mean, there's only supposed to be one A++, but because the trend here is so strong, they're just, they're following on each other. And another full TP right there. As it reaches the liquidity right there. And there you go, as it knocked out liquidity. As it knocks down liquidity and it drops down even lower to the next level of liquidity right here. We have a session right here, it's New York low. Yeah, the market profile is just not going to be too useful right now. Because this works well during a ranging market. This is setting up for a P shape, so This will show you that the market's probably gonna keep trending down. Which is what we expected. A lot of entries today. So this is one of those days where, a lot of entries come up. Typically, we only have like one entry that comes up or two. Today there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries before, like, in the first 30 minutes, basically. Here it goes, it drops even lower. If I see another entry, I'll obviously I'll let you guys know. There's nothing here yet. And let's see what's going on here if we get that retracement back up. So we got an engulfing right here that might be the retracement that we're looking for. I don't know if this will hold, but if this is the case, then we'll I mean, it's got to push up at least to this point, 50 points. Yeah, Christian said Friday was crazy. 7 entries and 1 loss between 9:40 until like 3 p.m. Yeah, the second half of the market was pretty heavy on Friday. Sell-off here is pretty heavy as well. Today's kind of similar to Friday. So price did not retrace up 50 points, so I'm not going to put the buyers for retracement here yet. There hasn't been a reset, guys. Price has been dropping for a long time here. There hasn't been a reset of I guess price direction. You want to have that reset so that you can start looking for more entries for yourself. Because you want to have at least some sort of retracement. It doesn't have to be a big retracement, just like I said, 50 points is good enough for me. So if I get a retracement right there, at least to the 50-point mark, then I'll put the buyers in control from here. They don't have to be in control for that long, but there we go. So price did push up right there. We have the buyers back in control from this point. And then if this here flips up and then flips back down, that's fine. All right, let's put the sellers back in control after. All right, so I guess we'll kind of see what happens here. If we go back into a ranging market, then this is where the point, where the market profile will like come into play, and you'll be able to see this maybe come back up to here. But odds of that happening are very unlikely because we're in a heavy trend market right now, so we're not really looking for market to go back into a range. We're looking for it to just retrace up a little bit and then come right back down. Let's see. CJ said, "What's the date of sales right now?" Uh, Sorry, CJ, I'm confused with your question. The data sales, the time of sales, or the date of sales? Date of sales. Oh, time and sales. Okay. Yeah, I was like data sales. So the time and sales right now, I'm looking at it. They're pretty balanced right now. It's not really one-sided. Looking at the big orders, there hasn't really been too many big buy orders for the most part. I mean, they're coming in, but they're coming in bunches. So I've seen clusters of buys coming in right now. But there's just an equal amount of sell orders here. So what I would look for in the time and sales, for me personally, is I would probably just look for this here to, I would look for the buying power to start to fade out. Right now, the buying and the selling is consistent of one another. But if I do see, a flip, then I'll let you guys know. There's no flip right now. If there was going to be a flip, you'd probably see like a V1 or engulfing somewhere here. So I'd probably look for a V1 or engulfing, and then from there, I'll start to look for a continuation push to the downside. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, CJ said, wasn't sure what it was called, but that huge spike to the upside had me wondering. So yeah, there weren't any big orders for some buys that came in. There was clusters of buys here. It doesn't necessarily mean buyers are coming into the market. It could just be the sellers trying to sell off. So like with those buy orders that are coming in, it seems like some of the people who wrote the sell down, they're offloading their position. Okay, so here's the value low now. As you can see from this point here, from this point here, price might be coming back up. Kind of depends on how this candle closes. It has 18 minutes left on it, so it's got a lot of time. This is the value low of the volume. So again, just a reminder, guys, this dotted line and this dotted line, this is the value low and value high of market profile. This green like zone right here, this is going to be the point of control for market profile. And then the solid lines are going to be for volume profile. So this is volume profile high, volume profile low, and then volume profile point of control right there. So again, I'm just using these to identify possible bounces, you know, in the other direction. So for example, here, see how price is coming back above this area? This might be a continuation back up to the point of control, which is up here. Because right now, price is not fair. Right now, price is way too discounted. So this is a huge discount right here. In order for price to be fair, price needs to go back to this point of control. But this only happens if the market is ranging. Right now, the market isn't necessarily ranging, or we might be in a big range, but you know, from what I see here, we're still in a downwards trend. So I wouldn't necessarily see that as a push up there. I would see it as a retracement and continuation back down further. So, I mean, it just kind of depends. I mean, looking at this here on the 30-minute, you can see prices trying to push back up. But like I said earlier, guys, you know, use this as a confluence, not as a specific strategy type of tool. Yeah, Sam said I lost a V1, 20-point stop loss, ATR too strong. Can't have a small stop loss here. I love the sell V1 here. Probably the only reason Sean made the stop loss. Yeah, I know. I was looking at that too because the ATR was like way too high. You know, if my stop loss was just a little bit higher, like maybe at 40, it would have survived it. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, you know, the ATR is just too high. Like having a 30-point stop loss is just too tight because you can easily get eaten up in like one push there. And that's exactly what happened to me. And that's what happened to Sam there too. Sam had a 20-point stop loss. ATR is just way too high. It looks like he took the buy here, but he got stopped out before it pushed all the way up. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just part of the game, right? The thing is, I haven't seen ATR this high in a long time. I mean, you guys have been trading with me for a while. The ATR here is super, super high. Usually it's like at 20. Today it's at like, I mean, it's the highest I've seen in a really long time. CJ said there's an NPSV2 on an NQ. Rock's looking for a bearish continuation on the 43,570. I can see a bounce happen right there. Brock's around the pivot area. So the buyers might be back in control here, but I mean, we'll see what happens. They've been in control right here, but there's no confluences below it. So we had the buyers in control here since 7:06, so about 10 minutes now. But there's no engulfing candles. There's an NPS V2 that came up right here. Price came up, retraced, pushed up, close right there. So there's an NPSV2 that's currently running right now. The only problem here is that there's just not there's no confluences with it. I mean, the only confluence that I can see here that's probably a good one would be the market profile, because price is pushing back up from this value area. Like you guys can see right here. A couple confluences here pushing price up. Yeah, so in a situation like this, I would feel more comfortable taking MPSV2s. Like I don't have to only look for A plus setups, right? Because usually I'm only looking for A plus setups. But now that we have, like these confluences here with market profile and volume profile, I can see where price is possibly bouncing off and allowing more entries here. This was a MPSV2. There's a lot of entries that came up today, guys. This is the most entries I've seen in a long time, and like within this opening time frame period. Unfortunately, I got stopped out over here because the ATR was too high, but everything else hit. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entries. There's 7 entries so far that came up using the NPSV2 or A plus setups. Only one of them is lost. So it's been a 6-win, 1 loss day today for our scalps. So Sam's trying to enter a sell here at 43,610. Assuming you got in already, Sam. It's an engulfing candle right there too. Roxy for YM, I'm looking for MPSV2s on sells only until we see some significance. Structure breaks upwards. Yeah, I agree. I think the sellers are still in control. There's just, this is just a retracement. So looking from this here, once price pushes down to this point, we can put the sellers back in control at this point here. So once price breaks that 50-point mark, the sellers will be back in control. Otherwise, we'll just keep waiting here. Christian said, I like this. I like where it seems to be bouncing. Let's take a look at the market profile again. Okay, so market profile actually bounced off the value low right here on the 30-minute. So the sellers might be back in control at this point. Nice confluence right there. Yeah, that was actually a really good setup right there. I don't know if that's what you were looking at, Sam, as your confluence, but I'm looking at the confluences here. It looks really good. Because for me personally, the market profile is more important than the volume profile. So the solid lines aren't necessarily like the thing you want to focus on. You more so want to focus on the dotted lines. I just have the other lines there because the volume profile does provide some sort of confluence on top of it. But for the most part, I like to look at the market profile versus volume. But I do have it there just because. Anyways, it's bouncing off the value low right there. And it looks like the sellers are back in control from this point. We have an engulfing candle. Price came down. If we get a sell signal, it could be a possible MPS and a continuation to the downside further. Pending sell signal right there. All right, I don't know if the sellers here are going to hold, and we'll see what happens, but sellers here aren't necessarily. We need that sell signal. Once we get that sell signal, then we can say the sellers are back in control, but at the moment, we just do not have that here yet. It's still bouncing off that value low, so I mean, it could still come down further. It's just, we need to wait for that sell signal there to confirm. Overall trend is still super bearish. 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 10 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute. Everything's bearish here with regard to the trend. Confluences are still pointing towards the downside. We just need that sell signal. If we get that sell signal here, some strong red candle that comes up, then this could start setting up for an MPSB2. Otherwise, I mean, price might start to consolidate around this area here. Yeah, no sell signal. And then we also have medium impact news coming up right here as well at 7:30. Spark has got me yawning excessively today. Okay, so looking at this here, we are in this consolidation zone. I think price might just consolidate until news here at 7:30. Unless we start to get a pre-news movement, I don't think there's any news here for us to really look out for aside from that. Yeah, no breaking news. We just have Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index here at 7:30 for medium impact. It is forecasted to be positive. So this bullish push here just might be it just might be a pre-news movement because the forecast to be positive right there. Last month was 14.1. The consensus is 18. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be that way. Yeah, so the consolidation here is pretty obvious, as you guys can see. Yeah, Sam said, yeah, Sean, I'm selling straight to strong ATR for a V1 today. Learned after eating one stop loss, I expect a sweep above and a sell-off to keep the lower liquidity. Yeah, I can see that too, Sam, 100%. I think this push up is just temporary. And I think once, we get that push, that further push to the downside, it's going to knock out all of this down here. I mean, there's a lot of liquidity sitting down here. So we got liquidity right there on top of liquidity. This liquidity is not nice. There's more liquidity right here. We kind of have liquidity on both ends. It's just we're currently in a consolidation zone, so that liquidity marks up with opening price. All right, so the range consolidation here that I marked up, it's still respecting that level. Like I said, I think it's going to range consolidate until we get closer to news right here. I mean, it can break out. It doesn't necessarily have to stay within this area, but see how far price is pushed up from this low point. It's pushed up 50 points, so we'll say the buyers are temporarily back in control right now. Just temporarily. Okay, so this 30-minute candle has about 5 minutes left on it. It kind of depends on like where this ends up closing. Look at where it closes in the next 5 minutes. If it rejects off the value low, then it's probably going to come back down lower. If it doesn't and it pushes past it, then it's probably going to push up to the point of control here. So it's just, market structure. And we kind of just have to see. So right here on the 1 minute, price is actually at volume, or it's at point of control right now. So this is it's considered fair right now with regard to volume. It's not considered fair with regard to market profile, but for volume, it's considered fair at the moment. Just volume, not everything else. There we go. See, this is what I don't like about the volume indicator. I'm probably just going to take this off because I don't think it's very useful. Yeah, the thing with the volume indicator is that you have to have all these candles on the chart, because if I move it over here, it's gonna be skewed, it's gonna change. See how it's down there? It's not useful. That's why I don't like using the volume profile that's built into TradingView. I like using market profile because it doesn't change. It doesn't matter where you move it. Like I can move it here, I can move it here. The volume profile and the market profile doesn't adjust. But if you're using volume profile here, the VRPR or the VRVP, it adjusts with you. So you can't really move it around. You have to just leave it with all the candles on the chart. All right, we got 3 minutes left on here, guys. Let's go back to our main chart. The thing that I noticed is I got too many charts open. I'm probably have to close off a couple of these that I'm not really using anymore. Like the market structure bias. I don't think this is really necessary anymore because we're using market profile now, and that probably works a little better. But all right, let's see what happens here. Price is still stuck within this consolidation range. Like I said, this is probably going to push here until we get to the news here at 7:30, and then from there, price will probably break out. Baraxa, can I see your UW zone? What's the UW zone? Rock. This is my CPO. I'm not sure what you're asking for. Oh, you're talking about the letters. Yeah, you're talking about so the UW from Asia session. My bad. I thought you were talking about something different. Let's see. Brock says his UWCD looks different. Is this one different on yours? Are you on the 30-minute on yours? Because if you're on a different time frame, it's gonna look different. I have them in 30-minute blocks, so that's weird. Yeah, I don't know if your inputs are different, but I have the default settings right here. Yeah, the only things I changed were the colors. I didn't change the settings. For the value area percentage, I typically like to have this at 90, but I think 70 is better because it's more realistic. Um, if we get into heavy ranges, I'll go back to 90, but I think it's more realistic here. So price is coming down very sharply, guys. See the rejection here? This is what I was telling you guys about earlier. Once this candle closes, if this rejects off the value low, then it's probably going to keep dropping even lower. Probably going to keep dropping even lower from where it's currently at. Where are you using? Are you using it on TradingView, Brock? Or are you using it on a different platform? Oh, you're using Sierra. Okay, yeah, it might be a little different, like settings wise. I tried using TPO on NinjaTrader. It wasn't that good, so I didn't use it. It's just a little difficult to read. TradingView is actually really good. You just have to know how to set it up properly. Like I spent the whole weekend trying to figure out how to set it up on TradingView, and now that I have it set up here, it's pretty nice. All right, so obviously the sellers are back in control right here. Let's see from here. Or I mean, I'll see from right here. All right, so sellers are in control right here. We're back at the 7:30 candle. This is the news candle right here, actually. So yeah, price consolidated there for a little bit until we got to news, and now the sellers are back to pushing price below. Went down here, grabbed liquidity, close that off. We got the sell signal here that's currently pending. The news here was actually very, very negative, so it was a lot worse than expected. It's a huge difference there. They're forecasting it to be 18. It was actually -8. So that's a big. They were way off by a lot. All right, so we got market profile right here indicating that there's a rejection off the value low. And this is where it gets a little tricky. So see that we have two rejections now. We have a rejection off the value low over here to the downside for market profile. Then we have a rejection off the value low over here from volume. The thing is that this is an active candle, so I wouldn't necessarily be too concerned with this here because this can easily come back down. Right, this candle's active, so it's got time to go. The thing here on the 1 minute though is price is also rejecting off the value low off market profile and volume profile. So it's a little tricky. I mean, this could be a short-term push to the upside. All right there. This could possibly be a short-term push to the upside. I think the market's kind of dead now, guys. We had a nice big push right here earlier, like the first hour of market open, and then I mean, we're kind of dead now. We're back in this range. I mean, this was a nice push here. So this kind of just justifies sticking to the morning session, guys, because we talked about last week how like maybe I might shift over to the later sessions, but I mean, this just gave another confirmation that the morning session is still valid and it's still good. It's just you have to wait for certain days to like kind of roll over. I'm hoping we have more days like this moving forward for the rest of the week. Yeah, we had a lot of wins here. 6 wins, 1 loss, or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7 wins and 1 loss. From like 6:30 up until 7:17. So basically the first 30, 40 minutes, we had, continuous push to the downside. And a bunch of entries came up right after each other. Then price went back into this consolidation range. This is typically what we've been used to for the past couple months. This has just kind of been a market. So we'll kind of see how this ends up continuing as we progress through the trading week. Let me check the calendar real quick to see what news we have for this week. We have S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index. We got the Fed speaking pretty much every day. It looks like Tuesday, like about 3 or 4 Fed speakers speaking. We have new home sales on Wednesday. This is probably going to be negative. Initial jobless claims, 4-week average, jobless claims continuing, durable goods. Thursday. Oh yeah, so just a heads up, guys, I'm not going to be trading Thursday, or I'll try. So thing is, I'm going to be flying out of the country I'm flying Wednesday night, and I have a layover in Boston, which is 3 hours ahead. So depending on like when I get on the plane, I might be able to get on live with you guys Thursday morning. No promises, but I'll try to get on live with you guys in the morning. And then if the internet is okay on the plane, then maybe I can get on live while I'm on the plane. But if not, then probably no live session Thursday. And then same with Friday. I'm going to be in the Dominican Republic, so it's going to be kind of tough. The time difference there is like it's like 4 hours, I think. So I'll try to get on Friday, but again, it just kind of depends on like how the internet connection is over there. I promise this is probably gonna be the last time I go on a trip, but this month I've been going on trips to like different countries pretty much every week. So the time difference and the internet connection is going to be kind of tricky. But I'll try to get on with you guys on Thursday, and I'll try to get on with you guys on Friday. Monday, I'll probably be able to get on with you guys. I'll be flying back on Monday, but I think I'll be able to get on with you guys in the morning before I go to my I catch my flight back. So just a heads up. So this is probably gonna be a short week for us. I'll trade with you guys today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Thursday, I'm gonna try to trade in the morning at the airport if if I can. Friday, again, I'm gonna try to trade with you guys. It's just the time difference is so big over there. And then Monday, I'll probably be able to trade with you guys in the morning before I catch my flight. So I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna try to make it work, but again, I'm gonna try my best to accommodate. I probably won't be trading my accounts, but I'll bring my laptop just to at least go online and trade with you guys live. All right, so we got price finally coming back down. We have a possible MPS V2 setting up right here if anybody is looking to take it. Possible MPS V2 setting up right here, guys. There goes the MPS V2 running in profit. It's actually a nice setup right there because it broke past the value low. Yeah, there we go. So there's a lot of nice confluences here. We had the rejection off the value low right there. We had the breaking close past the value low in the 1 minute. Here's the volume. Again, I can't really move this forward. I gotta keep it back here. This also rejected off the point of control. And it looks like it hit TP right there for anyone who caught that. Yeah, Christian said I was actually doing a back test of the last 10 days. And actually, when you compare the wins and losses, you get more win ratio in session than off session. Yeah. And I agree with you too, Christian. I was doing the same thing. So like for my back test, it kind of looks like it's better to just stick to the morning session, of course. All right, so full TP right there on the MPS, guys. Nice, CJ caught it as well. So I think moving forward, guys, I'm not only going to stick to the A+ setups, I'm going to be looking at MPS setups on their own. But what I'm going to be looking at is I'm going to be looking for confluences here on market profile, volume profile, and the 1 minute market profile here as well. Because I think, for me, when I see these confluences here, those entries are likely to hit, more likely than not to hit for sure. So just, something to possibly keep in mind. Obviously the more confluences, the better, but I think these confluences are pretty good when we're looking for rejection points. And then also there was a rejection off the pivot here too. So there's just a lot of confluences there pointing towards the sell. And yeah, it played out pretty nicely. Thanks, Lila. Yeah, no, definitely. The thing is, I want to trade too. So like, I kind of don't like going on trips as much when it conflicts with my trading because I'm not able to be on the charts. I'll probably still be on the charts. So like, so on Thursday, I might be, I'll probably still be on the charts with you guys, but I will probably just be on the chat. So I'll be in the Discord and I'll give you guys updates of like what's happening and stuff like that. I just don't know if I can live stream while on the plane. I'm flying with JetBlue. I've only flown with JetBlue like once. I do believe that they offer internet connection, the internet connection is like decent enough to like do basic stuff. So I can probably go on Discord and I can pretty much go over stuff with you guys. The only thing is that I think I'm boarding right at 6:30. Well, 6:30 my time, I think like 9:30 Boston time. So I believe Boston obviously is 3 hours ahead. And my boarding is like at 6:20. So hopefully I board early and then I'll be able to get on the internet with you guys. Yeah, Christian said what I've been seeing also is that the four confluences is what is giving my confidence, especially if price rejects or breaks off structure as one of those. Yeah, no, definitely. So, that's the whole reason I put these tools together because these tools here do help. It looks like we're back in a consolidating market, guys. Looking at this here now, we're back in a consolidating market, of course. We have a break and retest off this lower range area. The sellers have been in control from this point right here. We have a sell momentum. This is a confluence right here for a sell. It's a V1 and an engulfing candle. If this candle closes below 520, I think it would be a nice possible setup to the downside. Yeah, so if this closes below this line right here, the 43,520, I think this will probably drop a little lower. This is going to be a V1 engulfing candle. If it doesn't close below it and you see that it's not closing below it, it's probably not going to be a good setup. The reason why I was saying that is because we're going to be breaking close below the value low right here, right? Which didn't happen, so confluence there didn't really line up. So there's a V1 right here. What you could look for next is you can look for that A+ setup. So you can look for price to come down, push up, come down lower. But this type of market structure right here, guys, I don't think this is a good market structure. We currently have basically consolidation range. Yeah, Parag said, man, pulled back last minute. Yeah, it's we're back into the consolidating market, guys, which is okay. I mean, it's just how the market is sometimes, right? We had the nice bearish drop over here, ton of entries came up, and then now we're back in this consolidation. Thing is, you can still trade in this consolidation. You just want to look for that. Well, here's the thing. Now that we're in this consolidation, it's probably going to respect the value lows a little more. So you might see price bounce off this value low, and then eventually price will probably climb up and come back to the point of control up here. And I say that like in a light sense, eventually, right? Not necessarily happening right now, but if we do go back into this ranging consolidating market, then it's probably going to consolidate here a little bit. You break up, consolidate a little bit, and then come back up to the point of control. Or, this can just continue to drop lower. If this doesn't end up sitting in this area, it might break below, retest, and drop here further. It just kind of depends on like what's there. I don't know what to look for. I look for those confluences. So for me personally, I try to look for these confluences first before I look for the entries. Or if the entry is already up, then I'll look at the entry and I'll look at the confluences if there's any rejections. I think the key thing here is if you can confirm that there's rejections off like key points, like value lows, value highs, point of control, etc. The odds of your trade working is very likely because you do have some sort of push from a high traded area. Because these areas are all high traded areas, right? You can see where the bounces happen over here. It's like a high point. Same with down here. And same with here, right? See how price rejected directly off the point of control? Rejected directly off the value low. And then again, right here, we have another value low. So it's good to use as many confluences as possible. Your strategy stays the same, but uses confluences to really give you the confidence to take your entry. There's no entry here right now. You can see price is just going sideways. We got the buyers back in control from this point right here. So from this point, your price is pushed up about 50 points or so. CJ said the daily candle is a super doji. Let's check real quick. Yeah, the daily candle is not, there's like no direction right there at all. with regard to the daily candle. I see it better here on the clean chart. Yeah, it is a super doji, right? Yeah, so a lot of uncertainty with regard to I guess direction of price right now. We had a big drop here, and then now we have this super doji. Perhaps the indicators are even tired. I know there's nothing here to look at. Um, but yeah, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. 7:46 right now. We got a few minutes till 8 o'clock. There's just not really much here to take. I mean, I wish there was something to take here, but looks like price here is probably just going to keep consolidating for a while. If anything, the volume might pick back up closer to like 8:39 between that period. And then maybe the second half of the day will have some direction, but well, look at this here. There's just not very much here to work with. Which is okay. This is like where you have to understand that like there's nothing in the market. So it's probably better to just wrap up and be done trading for the day, especially when you had all these opportunities here in the morning. So I'm hoping tomorrow we have another day like this. Maybe not as crazy where we get these like random candle spikes and stuff, but I mean, for the most part, the trades worked in both directions today. Worked for a buy right here, that little retracement, a bunch of sells right here, and then the retracement right here as well, and then the sell right here. But other than that, there's nothing here right now. The buyers are currently, I don't know, are the buyers in control still? So buyers push price from there. I guess technically right now the buyers are still in control. The sellers never really pushed price down yet. CJ said, are we gonna have a mentoring session today or tomorrow? So let me check real quick. I think I can do one tomorrow, guys. I can't do one today because I have I got a bunch of meetings today. So unfortunately I can't do it today, but I can do it tomorrow probably. So we'll work towards a mentoring session tomorrow at 2 p.m. I think that should work. So tomorrow 2 p.m. Just a heads up, we'll do a mentoring session. We'll kind of cover everything in detail. Like if there's any question that you guys have, just make sure you guys have your questions ready so that we can kind of go through it pretty quickly. I'm not going to go out of my way to like teach stuff that like I think you guys want to learn. You guys like if you guys have questions, come with the questions, okay? Because I'm gonna try to get in and out of the mentoring session pretty quickly tomorrow. The thing is, our mentoring sessions have been running kind of late. Like I've been on these mentoring sessions for about like 2 hours, and they're just running a little later than I'd like. So if you guys do have questions, just have the questions ready tomorrow, and then we'll knock them out. But I'm not going to do what I normally do because I feel like we extend the mentoring session a little late because I end up bringing up a lot of questions that are just like kind of unnecessary. So I think we'll cover like a couple main things like the MPSV2, the A plus setups. I'll probably show you guys a couple of different confluences that I use. And then we'll probably make that work. So we got some profits over here from Barack. Let's see. Here are Barack's profits. Okay, Barack locked in 7,334 for the day. Nice work, Barack. I'll put that over here. And I think there was one more question from Siobhan. Let's see. Let's see. I can show you right now, Shabam. It doesn't take that long. I don't change any of the settings, so there's nothing that you really need to like there's nothing that's gonna be out of the norm. So let's see. Do you want to see the VRP, the VRVP, or do you want to see the market profile TPO? Because they're two different things. I think the market profile works better, but it's up to you. If you want to see both, or if you just want to see one, because the market profile it has volume on there too, so you kind of just use both. Versus having the volume profile. If you use the VP here, it kind of sucks because you have to have it zoomed out. I mean, it depends on how big your screen is. If your screen is small, your volume is not going to look like mine here, right? Because I have a huge screen here. So I have a ton of candles on the chart. If you have a small computer or a small laptop, this is what your chart's going to look like. And your volume profile is going to change a little bit. So, I mean, it's not going to be the same as mine. So I don't know if you want to use the volume profile. I mean, personally, I think the volume profile, it's going to be different for everybody. Because depending on how many candles you can get on your screen, it's going to look like this. But if you have more candles on your screen, it's going to look like that. And if you have more candles on your screen, it's going to adjust even further. See how big this changes? The discrepancy with the volume profile is huge. So it's good for a confluence. Like if you just want to have it on your screen, I think it's good to just have it there. But and I'll show you how to use it. But for the most part, it's going to be different from what I see here versus what you see on your chart. So yeah, let me just check real quick if there's any other entries here. I don't think there's anything here right now. Price is rejecting directly off the value low. So I think sells would be ideal here if you guys are looking to take any entries. The buyers did push price up, and then it looks like the sellers might be back in control right here from this upper candle. So, all right, let me show Shivam here how to set up the volume profile. I'll be right here on the clean chart or the market profile. I would probably recommend using this on two different charts, not just one, but two. So I would have this one here, I would have a 1 minute, and then I have a 30 minute. The 30 minutes going to be better. But if you want to look at how price is moving on like a smaller scale, I would have two of them up. Okay, so here, let's go here to the clean chart. I'll make a copy of this here. Or you know what, I'll use these two charts. So I don't have to open a brand new chart here. I think these are exactly the same. Okay, so what you want to do here, Shivam, is you want to go to your indicators, type in TPO. It's the built-in one here. It says time price opportunity. So once you click on that, it's going to load up on your screen. So this is the 1 minute, and this is the 30 minute. You're doing the same thing, but it's just different time frames. Again, TPO, time price opportunities built into TradingView. Not everybody's going to have this. I think some of this might be only for people on the higher plan, but if you're on the higher plan, you probably will have it. And this is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like on the 30 minute. And this is what it looks like on the 1 minute. To show you here, you have to like back up a little bit so you can see it, because it's going to show you like what's on a specific time frame. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the settings. So go into the settings right here, and everything is pretty much where it should be. Like I just have this at default settings. Period 1, 30-minute block size, auto, 70, value percentage. And the things here that I changed were the style. So, I mean, if you want to just use it like this, Shivam, or if you want to change it to your specific colors, you can do that. For me personally, I don't really care to see these volume bars. So if you go over here to the settings, I go here to volume profile, and then I leave these on. But right here at volume, I just put this at 0 opacity, because I don't really care to see the volume, right? I don't care if that's on there. The next thing that I do here is I go over here to VAH, this is the value high. I turn that on, and I turn on the value low as well, because I want to see volume and I want to see market profile on top. So with this, I will put extend, extend, extend. I keep the point of control black. I keep the value low red, or green actually, sorry. I keep the value low green because this is where like the buying should be happening. And then for the value high, I colored this red because this is where the selling should be happening. Again, it's up to you. If you want to keep it all black, keep it all black. But I like to have specific colors so I know where the sells are supposed to be happening and where the buyers are supposed to be happening. Then I go to style, And this is where I set up the settings for the market profile, which is the TPO. So for this here, I have the point of control. I expand that. It's gray right here, or it's black by itself, but I like to keep it green just to have it like where it stands out. This basically shows me that this is okay. This is where price is likely to go from. For the value high, same thing. I color this red. I change it to extend. Value low, I change it to extend, and I color it green. So that's how my charts look. And that's exactly how I set it up. So basically, this is my TPO chart. The red dotted line is the market profile TPO. The green dotted line is market profile TPO. The solid lines are volume. And then this middle point right here is point of control. So that's what I do right here. I do the same thing with the 30-minute. I just go to the settings. I don't touch anything under inputs. It's just how it should be. I go to style, point of control. I extend that. I color it green. Again, the colors here, it doesn't matter what we want to color it. I just keep the ones on which are point of control, value high and value low. Because those are the only things that really matter to me. And then I go to volume. I turn on the value high, value low, extend them out. Value high is going to be a red because I'm looking to sell from those points. Value low is going to be green. I turn off the opacity to 0 for the volume areas because I don't care to see it. And that's how my chart looks. So it's just easier to see. For me, it's easier to see because I'm like, if you look over here at the data, so the thing is market wasn't ranging for like the previous days. Like yesterday was trending super hard, or Friday was trending super hard. Today's trending super hard. But if you look over here on the days where market is actually, where market's ranging, like for example, see this is a big range day, price came down. See, I bounce off the area and then it comes back to the point of control. Same with this over here. See how this is I mean, you can't see because the letters are in the way, but see how price pushed up? It bounced off the value high, and then it comes back down to the point of control. Yes, if you want to get rid of the letters, you can. I mean, the letters are meant, you're supposed to be able to read these letters here, Joan, but if you don't care about that, I mean, you can take it off. The whole point of this is to know what these letters mean, right? Each letter represents a 30-minute candle. So like all the A's are like the first 30 minutes of market, all the B's are the second 30 minutes of market. So you can kind of see where price was at a specific time. But if you want to take off the letters, yeah, you just turn these off right here. So see how market opened right here? It pushed up to the value high. And this could have been rolled back to the point of control right here. Either this point of control or this one down here. So it just kind of depends on like what you guys are looking for. I mean, obviously, people are using things differently. For the most part, the letters don't really matter unless you're like using them for something specific. But yeah, you can take them off if you want. Yeah, no problem, Shimon. I mean, it helps a lot, right? It helps a lot because you can kind of see where price is bouncing from, and this is based off like actual market data. It's not off like it's crazy. Like after studying this, the people who call like fair market, what are they called? FVGs, fair value gaps and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't really make sense because like this is based off like the actual data off the chart. I'm not like, oh, there's a big gap right here. So yeah, this is a fair market value gap. And like, yeah, you should trade right here. No, that doesn't make any sense. You're just picking like random areas. Like I guess you can use that and sometimes it looks like it makes sense, but a lot of times this value high is already there, right? From those points. I feel like people like to overcomplicate trading, and I feel like whoever created those fair value gaps, the FEGs, they were using the market profile because the market profile has been around for a long time. I know people who have been using them for like 30, 40 years. Like if you guys ever follow Top Step, like one of their main traders, Hogue, he came up with well, he didn't come up with this, but he has a video where he explains this. He's been using this for like 30, 40 years, and he explains how people come up with those names with like fair value gaps and stuff like that. Like all that stuff doesn't make sense because it's just you can't base fair value off candlesticks. It's just not possible. You have to base it off where volume's at, and you have to base it off like, the data that's on the chart. So, it's just when you have this actual tool on your chart, you can see it because the calculations tell you where all the volume's at. It's not like, oh, there's a big candle here, so this should be a support. Like this actually helps better with identifying support resistance using data than kind of guessing like, oh, this is probably a resistance because, because price like came up to this point and then came down. So just, something to keep in mind, guys, when you guys are looking at this stuff. And I think this tool helps a lot with identifying, bounce areas and target areas. So let's go back to the main chart over here. Let's see. Yeah, Aiden said possible V2 setup, but it didn't actually come back down. So unfortunately not. There's now a buy signal right here, so no V2 setup at this point. I think market's going to keep ranging here from this point, guys. So I don't think this is going to be necessarily a good area to be trading in. I think price is going to keep just ranging around this area. This range is probably a lot wider now. Down there. But yeah, if you guys want to look into like what I've been using here, the market profile, just look at YouTube market profile and then just watch videos. It'll make so much sense to you guys, like what I'm using it for and why I'm using it. Because it's been an eye-opener for me to use this because like, I look at a lot of these strategies where people are using all these complicated names. But in reality, it's like, if you know where the data is at, you can really read. Like another thing that people use this for is order flow. Like to look for price to bounce off these levels and then look at order flow to see if price pushes up back to the point of control, which makes sense. And I think it's useful. But the thing is, I have my own strategy already, so I don't have to use order flow. For me, I look at the bounces and then I look for my MPS V2s for my actual entry points. So you don't want to be overkill, right? If you have a strategy, just add a couple confluences to kind of help with it. But you don't want to be overkill and throw in like too many things, like too many tools. For me, I use basic price action momentum for my entries. And then I use the confluence here with the market profile to identify the bounces. So just something to keep in mind when you guys are looking for entries and when you guys are trading, because you guys don't want to overcomplicate things. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, let's see, Lamar said made some profit today, but feeling an itchy trigger finger, so I'm going to chill out. Yeah, definitely, Lamar, you should probably chill out because the market's not super great right now for entries. There is a MPS V2 setting up right here, though. So there's an MPS V2 setting up right here. If this candle closes above this line, this is actually a pretty good one because it's bouncing off the fair value. I was going to say the value low. And then also, yeah, it's really just bouncing off the value low right there. So there's a nice confluence if it does close above this black line, which it didn't. So no entry there. However, there's going to be a red flag above it right here, this pink line, which was the news at 7:30. So. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, tomorrow for the mentoring session, we'll cover stuff in detail. I'll go over some examples with regard to the MPS V2, the A+ setups, and I'll use the confluences here as well to kind of show you guys ways to identify, better confidence in these entries. So again, we have the rejection right here off the value low. If this closes above the black line, this is going to set up for an MPS V2. But the thing that you want to be careful for is going to be the red flag right here, news price. So I'll leave you guys with that. We'll kind of see here. I'll just wait for this candle to close. I'll mark it up for you guys, and then I'll get off for the day. If you guys want to take it, feel free. If you don't want to take it, there's no need to take it. You can just wait for a better setup either later today or tomorrow. So there we go. The MPS V2 currently running. It had a confluence rejection off the value low. And it looks like price is going to try to push back up to the point of control there. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but that's a possibility. The only problem here is that it was at the red flag, which is that pink line. So, all right, guys, if you guys want to follow that, feel free. I've marked it up for you guys there. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. And I'll be back tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, same place, same time tomorrow for the next live session as we can